one, go. It is time to go live. Good Friday morning. Thursday. Good Friday morning. This week I just wrote down in my day planner that it is Friday moments ago. And here we go. We're off to a day. I got a good night's sleep last night. I would say a full 8 hours, but my Fitbit would probably tell me it's closer to 6.5 just because you know how time works. Almost 7 hours. That's pretty good. For me, that's pretty good. I got a good night's sleep. It's a travel day for me. I'm heading north to Fort Worth this afternoon. My name is Keith, and I am broadcasting from Austin, Texas. Good Friday morning. And we are going to be talking about jobs in tech. We're going to be talking about the news that might be affecting jobs in tech. And I stream Monday through Friday on YouTube, Twitch, and LinkedIn as a place for people in the job hunt, specifically in tech, specifically as programmers, to come and hang out while they're getting out job applications. We'll see as we look at those job numbers. The numbers haven't been this bad in a while. Not great news. Not great news. A lot of uncertainty in the market. A lot of uncertainty in tech. Unless you have many years of experience in AI, there are just nobody that's throwing jobs at you right now. Doesn't mean there are not jobs out there. It just means there's more competition for those jobs and less of those jobs that are out there. So if we want to make sure we get one of those jobs, have to be consistent. We have to be focused. We have to be organized. We have to put the amount of time that we would dedicate to learning the skills that we need to be valuable to employers. We need to dedicate that same amount of time into marketing and selling the product, which is us. Okay. So let's get into it. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'm happy to discuss any and all of these topics in more depth. I had a great question yesterday, and that sent us down a rabbit hole for a bit. Always happy to engage and answer specific questions. If you do know anybody who is in the job market and could use a pal to hang out with while they get those job applications out, feel free to share this with them and or connect with me on LinkedIn. The QR code there is right on the screen. I'm always looking to grow my network. Okay, let's just jump into the job numbers such as they are. This is a set of graphs that has been created from over a year's worth of data. I've been collecting it for almost 3 years. But we're looking at the last 7 days, the last 6 months, and the last year. And we are looking at numbers that aren't that great, frankly. Last 7 days, there's been a trend down. This is, post-tariff, Chinese tariff craziness. And the news, from hour to hour seems like we have, it's encouraging. Things are going to be okay. Oh, it's not so great. Oh, no. What are we going to do? News coming out of Washington and parts unknown. And all that has made the market go up and down and up and down and up and down. But all that uncertainty makes people whose job it is to forecast what their budgets are going to look like throughout the rest of the year makes them very nervous. And nervous people don't take risks. They don't take risks like hiring new people to create new products, to add new features to existing products, to explore more markets, to grow, to expand. They do not feel comfortable doing that. And as you can see, when you look at the last 6 months, this was the end of the year here as we came off the holidays. It was a nice little bump, and then the inauguration happened, and since then it's been very flat. But then as the trade war really got underway, that flatness has started to fizzle even more. So if we look at the last year, 1 year ago, this time we had almost twice as many job postings happening as there are currently. This is not great news. I'm not here to give you a sugar-coated view of the world. What I mean to say when I show you these is, hey, look at that. Those are job postings. There wouldn't be any lines on my graph if there were no jobs out there. There are jobs. Just means that we gotta stay focused, and we gotta do everything we can. Use our network. Use all of the tools that are out there, AI and non-AI related, to make us look as attractive, higher as possible. Be creative. Think outside of the box. That's what we're going to be doing. Okay, let's talk about news. News. I'm on LinkedIn all day, every day, it seems. One of my old bosses from Dell has just started the Ford Motor Company. Eric was a good guy. Good manager. One of the reasons I'm on LinkedIn is not only to stay connected with the people in my network, always a good idea when you're looking for a job, but also because I get this great little news feed. Some days there's lots of really good news that gives us a clue as to where things are going, or keeps us abreast of maybe parts of the industry and parts of the economy that we don't really track that closely, but might have some effect on us, either because of the vertical we work in, or because it is a leading or trailing indicator of where things are going. So Google sales, this is 12 minutes ago, so pretty fresh. Google sales jump as AI lifts ads. Google parent Alphabet posted stronger than expected profits and revenue for the first quarter as artificial intelligence helped bolster advertising growth in its search business. Shares advanced in after-hours trading. Revenue rose 12% to $90 billion, exceeding the $89.12 billion projected by Wall Street analysts. Sundar Pichai highlighted Google Search AI overviews, which now has 1.5 billion monthly users, up from 1 billion. The results come as Google faces a slew of antitrust challenges over its internet search and online advertising dominance. This is the most concerning thing. Google Search AI overviews. I've been banging this drum for the last year, but on this stream for the last 4 months. Google Search AI overviews is going to kill the internet. It just, that's not hyperbole. What is the internet? The internet at its core is a bunch of people who voluntarily share information. And a significant portion of those people share that information because they want to make money. They want to make money because they share information for free. People search for that information. They find that information. They find them. They see what a valuable resource they are. And then they end up following them, joining email lists, or directly outright buying products from people. If Google's job is no longer to send people to the people who create the content, then where does the content come from to grow and continue to expand your AI? If your AI has been trained on all the free information that people put out, and you are removing the incentive for people to share that free information, this is a short-term approach that is going to have long-term negative effects. Not a fan of this. Not a fan at all. Big companies tear up forecasts. That uncertainty is. As earnings seasons ramp up, tariffs and the weaker U.S. dollar are complicating outlooks for many companies. For American companies with large overseas operations like Coca-Cola and Phillips Morris, a weaker greenback can boost earnings once foreign revenues are converted back into dollars. Conversely, many are finding it hard to plan, and domestic-focused companies face higher import costs. The U.S. airline sector is also under pressure as a weak dollar makes overseas travel less appealing. Yeah, so these are one of those things that I went a whole career, bought a house, paid it off, raised a family, and didn't think at all about what the dollar is, the strength of the dollar. Didn't care about it. Like, it happened. I'd occasionally see something about it, but it didn't affect me in any way. Didn't spend any time thinking about it. But, you learn and you grow how interconnected this world is, and that your little corner of it gets pushed around by other little corners of it. You start to connect dots and think, oh, maybe I should pay attention to this kind of stuff. And this is one of those things that I've started to pay attention to. The US dollar being the reserve currency of the world and very strong. And as I'm 10 years away from retirement age, I start thinking about things like, ooh, I'd like to travel more. Ooh, is it going to be more expensive for me to travel or less expensive? Maybe I'd like to spend a year abroad living in another city, learning another language, all those things that you think about as retirement sort of looms on your horizon. Yahoo mulls Chrome acquisition as Google faces calls from the Justice Department to spin off its Chrome web browser. Yahoo has emerged as a potential suitor to acquire it, joining OpenAI and Perplexity, according to The Verb. Yahoo Search General Manager Brian Provost testified in court on Thursday, saying Chrome could propel Yahoo's search market share into double digits from 3%. While a deal would cost tens of billions of dollars, Yahoo's owner, Apollo Global Management, could help provide funding, he said. We got to know the history of this stuff to know how kooky that concept is and how the world is weird and ironic. Yahoo had the chance to buy Google, and Google was willing to sell to them, but they just couldn't come up with a paltry amount of money. They didn't think it was worth their time to acquire Google. So now, after many decades, A, they're still around, and B, they might end up with a big, significant portion of Google's product line. Seems pretty hilarious and ironic on some level. What are you going to do? OpenAI sued by Mashable publisher. Not anything super interesting about this story other than, when OpenAI crows about how they just got a $40 billion investment, that just puts a bigger target on their back. So more people are going to sue them, of course. Whether those suits are effective or not, no one knows. They certainly have the money to fight them and keep them tied up in court for a long time. With $40 billion they're sitting on, they got more resources than any small publisher who would sue them. And maybe that might means that one day, 5-6 years from now, when it actually gets into court, if they don't settle first, there may be a chance that they could win. But these are the problems of billionaires. Don't really interest me all that much. Walmart moves to shield China business. Walmart hopes to protect its international business from tariff fallout with a new program to help Chinese exporters sell their products domestically. The retailer has 336 stores in China and saw a 28% net sales growth last quarter. Meanwhile, experts say that Americans can expect shortages of Chinese project imports in stages. First up, toys and low-priced home goods, then fast fashion and consumer electronics, which could have an impact on holiday shopping, as many businesses are already preparing. Yeah, we've been talking about this week. There's a whole movement in retail that's been around for a couple of decades now, and it's this idea of just-in-time inventory. Just in time. You don't have a warehouse full of stuff with 6 months worth of products. You're just sitting there collecting dust until you need them. You have a very efficient supply chain, so that the products that are sitting on your shelves today were maybe in China 30 days ago. And you only need enough to make sure that your shelves don't completely empty out. But you get a run on a particular product or all your products, like we saw during the pandemic. It doesn't take very much to empty off those shelves. And the same thing could happen in these supply chain issues here. If companies can't sell those products at a profit without jacking up the price and making them less attractive for people to purchase, it's one thing to say, "Oh, I'm raising my prices," and that means my profits are going to go up. But that's not what's going to happen here, right? They'd have to raise their prices, and the margins at best would not get any better. At worst, they would go down, right? So you're charging more. Your customers aren't happy. You have less sales, and the margins are lower. So, like, all of that feels less attractive if you're in the retail business. Seeing lots of small stories these days about mom and pop shops going out of business that don't have the might of Walmart to move the ball around and and make some alternate opportunities. March home sales the slowest since 2009. If you'll remember what happened in 2008, most people took a big hit and lost their homes, and it was not a good time to be in the housing market. Sales of previously owned homes fell 5.9% from February to March, thanks to the elevated interest rates and anxiety about the economy. Year over year, those sales are down 2.4%. Numbers dropped across the U.S., but the West, where home prices are highest, suffered the hardest hit. Existing home sales dropped more than 9% month over month. New home sales, meanwhile, spiked in March, rising 7.4%, beating expectations. Yeah, I mean, the housing market, if you pay any attention to it, you will know that it is not a monolith. It is a bunch of small communities all across the United States. And some of those zip codes, some of those counties are actually doing well. They have good home inventory and good sales. But a lot of them have too many houses. The prices are still overinflated from the big boom that happened post-pandemic. And people don't want to believe that their $600,000 house is now worth $530,000. So they're still pricing it at inflated prices. And as a result, not as many home sales. And the interest rate is not going down. Powell is not going to budge on the interest rate. So you can factor that in. What can we do? Are you in the home market? I am not. Our house is paid off. My wife and I briefly talked about last year purchasing another house because we're currently paying rent for my daughter who's in school and will be graduating next year. Maybe we could buy a rental property that she could stay in, or purchase it with her so that she could have a starter home. But we were hoping that the interest rates would come down. They're not coming down. They are not coming down. What's going on in Google News? Pope Francis order of service, funeral mass published in full. How to watch the Pope Francis's funeral. Excuse me. I was raised Catholic and went to parochial school until 6th grade. I am no longer a practicing Catholic. The word of the Pope or his demise does not really affect me in any way directly. It's not my thing anymore, but it's big news for a bunch of people. Big news for a bunch of people. A lot of people are watching that movie about Conclave, and I looked at it and I was like, maybe I'm sure it'd probably be interesting if I watch it. And I was like, I can't commit to a 2-hour movie about something I don't care that much about. Let's see. Trade war stuff. Car bomb kills senior Russian general in Moscow. Wow. Access personal phone use created vulnerabilities, say analysts. Yeah. That's having a rough couple of weeks. Celestial Gardens. What have we got? Check out the technology news. Got any plans for the weekends? Again, I'm getting out of town today. I'm going to spend a couple of days in Fort Worth, which is about 4 hours away from me. It's a nice day trip. We're going to go to a couple of museums, my wife and I. And we're getting just a taste of what that empty nest life might look like. My son is on a school trip to New York. He left yesterday. My daughter is going to watch the dog. And we are going to sneak away for a weekend. iPad OS 19 rumored to show Mac-like menu bar when connected to Magic Keyboard. Okay. Google confirms Gemini is coming to Wear OS. I don't know what Wear OS is. Oh, that's the smartwatches. I've never been a big smartwatch guy. I've got the Fitbit, but I don't. I think there are ways to connect notifications and stuff to your phone, and I don't use any of that stuff. I just track steps and heartbeat and that kind of stuff, and my sleep. YouTube testing AI overviews in its search results. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. I've been really using, I'm on YouTube, 20 times a day. And occasionally I will see the closed captioning, the auto closed captioning, speech to text stuff that YouTube has been doing. And then other times I look for it and it's not there. I can't find it. I don't understand what's going on with that. Maybe you have to opt in I don't. I'm streaming on YouTube right now, but I don't spend a whole lot of time in the interface and learning all the ins and outs of it. I haven't gone all in on the YouTube thing yet. Mm-hmm. I'm following the starter story. If you watch that YouTube channel or are a member of that website, they do profiles, case studies on indie hackers who create businesses, small businesses, turn them into large or saleable businesses. And he started last week, the week before, doing a video series on starting a business, vibe coding a SaaS product. And he just had dropped his third video in the series. And one of the things that he discovered was he had this idea for a thumbnail maker for YouTubers that relied upon OpenAI's latest image generator. But he started building the application, got the whole front end working. And then when he tried to hook it up to AI's image generator, the latest model, he found out that it wasn't available. And he's like, oh no, I put in this work and now it doesn't work. So he's like, oh, they'll release it at some point. I guess I'll just forge ahead. So maybe he just got some good news. And he's back on track with that thing. Okay. $65. God. Phones and games. What is going on in the internet world? Case for breaking up Google has never been stronger. How to delete your personal information from the internet for free. Starlink. YouTube responsible for 16% of global internet traffic. Holy mackerel. That's what they should be spinning off. YouTube is what they should be spinning off, not Chrome. Might end up being both, but if you're going to one first, that seems the best one. 42 free and open source project receive funding to reclaim the public nature of the internet. That's interesting. I want to check that out. Pausing fiber internet program. West Virginia's huge waste of resources. Pope Francis called for truth. The internet answered with deepfakes. Yeah. This is the world we're living in. This mind-bending math puzzle has stumped the internet. Are you quick enough to solve it? PEMDAS. Why are they giving me a story from May 25th of 2024? Why is that a story? October 13th, 2023. What? 2019. Oh my gosh. Google News. You are dropping the ball. What the heck? Okay, it's 9:30. All right. I'm going to say what I always say on Fridays. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the end of the week. But it's not the end of the week. It's not the end of the week for you because you need a job. You're out there looking for a job. Do you take weekends off looking for a job? Are you that person? It's like, I'll look for a job on the weekdays, but I'm taking the weekend off. You're not that person because that person is not committed to getting a job in a challenging job market. The person who is really committed is consistent. How long is this taking you? 30 minutes to get out some job applications? You got 30 minutes tomorrow. You got 30 minutes on Sunday. And guess what? You're going to be at the top of the stack of those jobs that are being posted on Saturday and on Sunday that other people are taking the weekend off for, right? You want an extraordinary life. You have to put out an extraordinary effort. That is the old saying, right? You want that is what you got. So that's what we're gonna do. You're gonna get up tomorrow. I'm gonna get up tomorrow too. I'm not gonna be streaming because I'm gonna be in Fort Worth, but I'm going to be get up tomorrow. I'm taking my laptop with me. I'm gonna be checking the number of jobs posted. I'm gonna be recording them in my Google Sheets. I'm gonna be adding to those graphs that we're gonna look at on Monday. I'm committed to being here to give you the information that you need. And part of that means I work on the weekends. And you're going to work on the weekends too. That's what you're going to do. You're going to get up. You're going to do what it takes. You're going to get ahead of everybody else. You're going to get to the front of the line. And you're going to put yourself in a better position to get that job. Okay. We will see you again on Monday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, broadcasting live from Austin, Texas. In the meantime, and in between time, have a great weekend. Get those job applications out and get out of the house, walk around, see some people, go to a meetup, reconnect with some friends you haven't talked to in a long time. Let them know you're in the job search. Do everything that you can to get that job. All right, guys, we will see you on Monday.